Sunday morning at World Changers Church just outside Atlanta. Thousands of worshipers have come to hear the message of senior pastor Creflo Dollar. Among them, a fixture in the front row, four-time heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield, who for 17 years has supported the church with his presence and his pocketbook.
It's never been about the money, but been about, my purpose. I'm a Christian, and being a Christian, you tithe.
Tithing, the practice of donating 10% of one's income to the church, is commonplace in many faiths.
But he was faithful.
But Creflo Dollar has made it a central part of his prosperity message. He recalls stressing its importance when longtime friend Holyfield was searching for answers after losing the heavyweight title to Riddick Bowe.
We were just going over a checklist, your prayer time and time that you're spending in the Word, what's not working. And it's like the light bulb came on. He thought, wow, I'm doing everything except tithing.
Since Holyfield's revelation that day, he's been Creflo Dollar's undisputed tithing champion.
How much do you tithe?
I tithe 10% because that's what the Bible says.
Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield estimates that through the years, he's tithed more than $20 million. When he netted $35 million for the infamous ear-biting fight against Mike Tyson, he says 10% went straight to the church.
I get $3.5 million.
$3.5 million?
Yeah.
That was a heck of a payday for the church.
Well, I didn't look at it like that.
How comfortable are you receiving that much money from one guy?
As comfortable as I would be receiving $5 from another person whose tithe was $5.
Does God want you to be poor?
Dollar is one of a number of televangelists who preach the prosperity gospel, which teaches its followers that by tithing, they'll be rewarded not just spiritually, but financially.
It's total life prosperity. God wants us to prosper in every arena, or he wants us to be successful so that we can prove to people that there is profit in serving God.
He wants you to have a prosperous life. Why? Because he loves you.
They've turned it around to say, God wants you rich, and it's deceiving a whole generation of Christians. They're telling people about the wrong Jesus.
Ole Anthony runs the Dallas-based Trinity Foundation, a nonprofit Christian group that, in addition to working with the homeless, investigates the lifestyles of televangelists who preach the prosperity gospel. Anthony says he's seen frequent examples of these evangelists, like Dollar, Dallas-based T.D. Jakes, and others, not only benefiting from the donations of wealthy athletes, but using athletes to promote their ministries.
We got this press release from T.D. Jakes' ministry. It was a press release announcing the baptism of Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith. I was just sickened by it. It just typifies what's this whole celebrity selling and sports figures that goes on all over America.
You have put your joy in
Through a spokesman, Jakes responded that he only put out a press release about the baptism because of the high interest in the Cowboys players on the part of the local media. Jakes doesn't just welcome superstar athletes to his Dallas-based Potter's house, he lives like them. His Fort Worth estate recently appraised for more than $6 million. Creflo Dollar lives in a mansion in an upscale Atlanta neighborhood and shuttles between his Atlanta area church and a satellite church in New York City on a Gulfstream jet, one of two private planes owned by Dollar and his church.
In many different faiths, religious leaders take a vow of poverty or lead a very humble existence. So how comfortable are you leading a lifestyle that really doesn't resemble that?
Well, I'm very comfortable because just because somebody decided to take a vow of poverty doesn't mean I have to take that vow or agree with it.
I believe that no matter what it is, I'll get through it.
Missouri-based minister Joyce Meyer also preaches the prosperity gospel. According to a spokesperson, until recently, Meyer lived in this $2 million home that was paid for by her ministry. She's since moved into a home she paid for herself. She also happens to have a star athlete on her board of directors, NFL Man of the Year, Kurt Warner.
The Lord wants to bless us, and that's part of his message is that as we follow him, as we follow his leading and are obedient to him, that prosperity comes with that.
Warner, who ties to the church in Arizona he currently attends, likens Christian ministers like Meyer to CEOs of large corporations and says they should also be entitled to the trappings of success.
I would love to hear somebody's take on why they feel somebody that leads a ministry, an international ministry that, brings in a lot of money and gives out a lot of money, why those people are not allowed to be financially blessed like a professional athlete.
They might argue that if Joyce Meyer didn't live in a $2 million mansion, maybe they could give more to those charitable causes.
Well, but they could argue that about me, too. I have those same things. And so, does it mean that, I shouldn't have them as well just because I'm a Christian?